Hello! Welcome to the Go to Work Radio Show again. How are you, Reverend Shaw?
I'm doing great. How are you? Go to work, go to work, go to work.
Yes, indeed. Wow, I hear we have a serious topic today. Not that we haven't had serious topics in the past. Absolutely. So you telling me we're going to talk about an apology, a psychology apology?
Yep, the American Psychological Association apologized to black people and people of color for their handling and treatment of minorities. They've apologized for it, and but the thing is I do not accept that apology.
And because what specifically are they apologizing for?
Well, they're apologizing for, they have never stood with black people. In fact, in the 1960s, when Martin Luther King and these people were protesting and leading marches for freedom, they said that black people were suffering from psychological psychosis, delusions of grandeur, and all of these type of things. Instead of saying racism was wrong from a mental and spiritual health perspective, they backed those things. It was the psychiatrist who okayed or who signed off on who died during the Holocaust. That didn't have to deal with us. That had to do with people who weren't of the pure race. And so they were the ones that said in the 1950s that blacks, Native Americans, and Mexicans should never be allowed to have children. That was the American Psychological Association that said that. So, and during Black History Month, I would, give kind of a chronological assessment of how they have, from Dr. Benjamin Rush to the modern day apology, has never been a friend of the black community.
Okay. So let me take you back really quick. When you said the pure race, who are you talking about?
Well, remember during the time of the Holocaust with Germany, Hitler and them's whole movement was based on the pure race. It was based on eugenics. And they were basically saying that if you weren't pure, blonde hair, blue eyed, even though Hitler wasn't that, and many of the psychiatrists weren't that, but they started off. See, this is how you do things subtly. They started off saying that people who were autistic and mentally challenged did not want to live. Now, I don't know how they were able to interpret if these people wanted to live or not, but then it became unfitting for life. Then it expanded to anybody that was not of pure race. The word eugenics itself basically means good stock and well-bred and things. So if you weren't of that stock, if you weren't of the pure race, then you could be put to death for your convenience.
Right, and that almost take you back to the paper bag. It's like a criteria. So that brown paper bag, if you were too darker than the brown paper bag, you had to go in the back of the establishments when you wanted to perform back in the day too. So it's a similarity of where these criterias come from,
Absolutely.
We were talking about stereotypes last time.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the whole idea, some of the things that emerged out of psychiatry actually destroy, in a lot of ways, the black community. If you make people believe that scientifically light skin is better than dark skin, if you base this on the fact that black people's skin is dark, and you say the dark pigmentation of his skin is because he has a disease akin to leprosy, and then you tell white people to stay away from them because they are diseased, and then you say The only way you know if a black person is cured or sane is if he turns white. So you have set to where the light skin is pitted against the dark skin, and if we look in the black community, those two opposites have always attracted. But they convinced us, if you can look everywhere, light-skinned men with dark-skinned women, light-skinned women with dark-skinned men and stuff. But if they perpetuated the idea that wasn't cool, when I was a child, I remember a friend of mine telling me, as much as he hated it, he hated that black people can't think like white people, that the darker skin ain't smart. They even illustrate that in the Boondocks. Remember the cartoon? Yeah. They talk in depth about that craziness, and they're making fun of it and making us laugh. But the truth of it is what we have to look at. Right.
Absolutely. And that reminds me, at the top of the show, you said that you didn't agree or you don't accept the apology. And based on what you're saying, I want to not put words in your mouth, but would you expound why you do not accept the apology?
Because this entity has worked against us so long, and then they expect that they think they are so superior that they can just offer us an apology, and then we're supposed to go back right into treatment with the same wolf that's been eating our family. If the wolf apologizes to the sheep or the chickens, do you think those chickens or the sheep will accept that apology? Absolutely not. So I don't accept it. It is just a method, because they've been doing campaigns. They've been talking about the stigma of mental health, and the black community is not truly responding with all their billions spent in advertisement. All of this stuff, the black community is saying, we don't trust these people. The vaccine is being rejected by the black community as a whole because of the fact of the treatment during Tuskegee and other experiments. We can't trust that industry. So now, so the movement now is to get us to say, oh, we know we did you wrong. So we apologize. Now come on in and get your medication. Come on in and get your shot.
That abusive cycle.
Come on now. And we're supposed to be so embraced into wanting to be accepted by white people. They can just say, oh, we sorry. Well, they used to apologize for us after they whipped us, after they pulled our wife out of bed and made her sleep with master's friends or master. They used to do that, apologize after they stole our children. Well, we needed to do that. Knock it off.
Mental abuse.
I'm not accepting it.
Yes, that's mental abuse, and that is also a disrespect on the intellectual property of black people that have a history of just being used and abused. So why would we say, yes, okay, we're gonna do what you say, thank you for the apology? No.
Well, if you really want to apologize to me, if you want me to accept your apology, then I want you to give the black community and other minorities 50% of your budget, so we can develop the programs that will make sure that our children don't end up in your mental health facilities.
Well, why would you say 50%? Shoot, this sounds like that's what people talk about back in the day, the 400 acres and a mule. Where is it at? Why only 50%? Why do we have to make a deal with them?
Well, because I want them to know that I know that they are perpetrating, and I'm not asking for all their money. I'm saying give us a portion of the money. They can give the other 50% to white people that they have damaged. I want to just look out. I ain't trying to be greedy. I want to look out for the minority community, especially blacks, and let us. They spend billion. Do you know they spend, I think, and I hate to quote this wrong, I think in America they spend $1/3 trillion on mental health in one form or another through insurance companies. Do you know what we could do with that kind of money in vocational training, educational tutoring, teaching kids film? Do you know the programs that can be developed that will allow them to learn the electrical trades, computer trades, all of this stuff, so they can have technology? You know, all it is teaching a kid properly how to read, and if he can read, he can learn anything. So, you know, and a lot of your depression, because you can't feed your family, because you can't take care of yourself, because you have low self-esteem, disappears when you truly know how to read.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what about the fact that, you know, there's still some different things that can happen after a person takes a vaccine, so money won't matter.
Well, the thing is that the vaccine, and that's not my field of expertise, all I wish is that they had a lot more research. This thing to me seems rushed. It changes every day. As one of the things my son sent me, it said, imagine, if you will, a virus so dangerous you got to be tested to even know you got it. It's like, when are we going to look at this? And I'm not saying people don't die, but I do know from people I know in the industry where they were killed in car accidents, and when they were tested, they had COVID, and they said COVID was the killer, not the car accident.
Come on now.
So I don't know how much of this is manufactured. I believe there's a real virus. I believe we created it. But because you can't tell Obama, and when he was president, and tell Trump when he was president, that this pandemic could come and know that it was going to hit unless it was orchestrated. So that would make it not a pandemic, but a plandemic.
That's right.
And so we have to be careful, do our research. I'm not telling anybody in your audience to take the shot or not. I'm not telling anybody in your audience not to wear a mask, not to wash his hands, not to social distance, because I do that. I haven't taken a shot, don't plan to, but that is my personal choice. I'm not speaking on your personal choice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, in essence, you know, we have a hot 15 minutes every week, as we shall say. Absolutely. What would be your consensus about this apology, psychiatrists?
I say,
I
would like for them to admit the truth that there's no science in our field of mental health. Anybody that would electroshock children and pregnant women, when you electroshock a pregnant woman, you are saying that you are shocking children before they're even born. Okay? Because that child is in the womb, and when the mother receives that type of trauma, that child is receiving. If you go off a cliff driving your car and you 8 months pregnant, 6 months pregnant, that child feels that trauma, even though it's in the stomach. So for us to walk around or pretend that that's not happening, and you use it for severe depression, and this electroshock causes miscarriages. So wouldn't you think that the mother would become more depressed after losing her child?
Absolutely.
So what's the benefit?
None.
Oh, so I thought about, I was depressed, so you electroshocked me to where I can't remember I'm depressed. Well, okay, you think that's a benefit, but what else can I not remember? What about remembering my children? What about remembering my wife or my friends? What about losing the ability to come on this show and discuss this issue?
That's right, absolutely.
And what about the abuse that can happen when they start arresting our leaders as being delusional and submitting them to electroshock to where they no longer can function.
Exactly. Where's the sustainability? It's like, do you really want everybody to depend on the government?
Exactly. And I have the right to vote for Donald Trump or to vote for Joe Biden. I have the right to have my opinion, what I think is right or wrong. I have the right to stand up and fight against injustices. This is given to me by the Constitution of the United States. And none of these people have the right to tell me what I must like. I don't even say white people who don't like black people have to like black people. I say you can't abuse me, you can't injure me, but you do not have I do not have the right to tell you what you must like or not like. It's ideal for you to like me and I like you. If you're a woman, if you don't like men, you have that right. But you have the right also to like me. You just don't have the right to hurt me because I'm a man, or I don't have the right to hurt you just because you're a woman.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that takes us into the segue of CCHRtaskforce.org.
Absolutely. And the CCHR task force is still growing. I still open it up to any of your professional people, your learned people. It's almost anybody that really wants to fight against the injustices to contact me at fshawjr@yahoo.com. FSHAWJR@yahoo.com. If you want to know what this issue is about, go to CCHRtaskforce.org. And if you want to get information, file a complaint, go to CCHRINT.org and look at the information that is there. And so, but I want to always say, because you have used this as a platform, you are a hero in our community because you address the issues, you come to the community meetings, you are involved, and more people like you hosting shows must be involved, and from a grassroots level, not from a stand back and what are these people talking about? You inside knowing what the people talking about, and that makes you valuable to our community.
Go to work, go to work. I appreciate you, and always come informed, and definitely with the enthusiasm, and because we need enthusiasm as well, because some people, it's not that it's funny, and it's not that it's the takeaway from the seriousness, but that energy, we do need the enthusiasm in the voice, whereas you love what you do, you love how you think, because we talk about that many a times, of mental health. We talk about how you think. It is very important that you validate the way you think and you feel great about it. So that is a form of enthusiasm. And it's one thing to have an energy to do something positive, and another to do something negative. So I really appreciate you always coming here, informative, ready to go. You call before the show. You're like, this is what we can talk about, and this is what happened. Did you hear about this? And it's just really, really, really engaging for me. Absolutely, when there are so many people that I do know that they just operate on the surface and they don't dig deep. And I'm very thankful, at least once a week, that we can have conversations such as this, and hopefully it'll be more. Absolutely. So those of you that's listening to the show, please share the show, and we appreciate you very much. Until next time, go to work,
go to work, go to work, go to work.